Welcome back. This being Hope at Dawn right here at Hope TV, where you look and you live. My name is George Gishoro. Relationship Resonance. It is being a Thursday. We are talking and we always talk about matters, relationships. And we are glad that you could find time to just join us, especially on today's conversation, today's topic. It's a very important topic, but one that many of us actually, we shy away from having it with our teenagers, especially because today the focus is on young people, especially the teenagers. All of us were there at some point, and we know how things unfold, how bodies react and behave during that season and that stage of our lives. And so it's very important to have these conversations with our teenagers, with our boys, with our girls, and tell them that it is very normal what they are going through, normal what they are experiencing. But then again, how do they navigate through that stage of life, because it's a very critical stage of their lives. And so if not well handled, it can really mess up their lives and mess up their future as well. Hope TV Kenya, across all our social media platforms, you can get us there. Guess what? We are live on YouTube. We are live as well on TikTok. So hautasema ati mimi nilikuwa kwa mat or see we have you covered. We have you sorted so that you can be able to watch and listen from wherever you are tuned in from. Could be in the office, could be heading to work, could be you are driving, could be in a PSV, whatever place you are in, you are sorted so that you are able also to learn. And also, we are asking you, how were you able to navigate that stage of your life? And maybe if you are a parent with a teenager, how are you able also to discuss this very thorny but important conversation with them? So handling teens, relationships, and love, that is what we are looking at this morning. Very important. Looking forward as well to a potential teenager in the next, is it months or year? Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. How do we even start this conversation? And so get us also on WhatsApp 0708 222 323. You can drop us a text or a comment, and we will be answering you as we go about with our conversation. And this morning we have our friend, a friend of hope. He's been here a couple of times as well. Very, very much passionate about teenagers, about young people, about children as well, and bringing them up in a godly way. And so he's here with us. He is an author. He is a relationship consultant as well. We are talking about Douglus Angogo. Good morning, Douglas.
Good morning, Gigi. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're looking warm. It's too cold and you're just...
It's where I come from.
Freezing and shining.
Where I come from?
Yes.
It's part of...
When it rains, you celebrate.
Yeah, when it rains.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are used to these kinds of weather. But good to see you.
Good to see you.
You well?
Asante, I'm good.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
And we are now into the holidays, and I know we have children who are tuned in, teenagers who are tuned in, parents who are tuned in, and many a times, especially parents, we are very busy, and so when kids are on holiday, we usually ask, nitafanya nini na wao for those 3 weeks? What will I do with them? And so we try to bring all sorts of things. DVBS, unfortunately, it's in August, not April.
True.
So it's a very important conversation, what we are about to discuss, to unpack as well, because as we said, we are not there with our kids when they're in school, when they are social circles and all. We are not there. But then again, we want them to be responsible. We want them to take care of themselves now that they are at that stage. And so thank you for accepting this invitation to come and talk to us and with us about this conversation. But before we get into that, maybe someone watching us for the very first time has never interacted with you. Who's Douglas? A brief introduction of yourself.
Asante sana. Thank you, Gigi. And even Hope Activity for having me again. My name is Douglus Angogo. I'm a born-again believer and a proud member of Deliverance Church Umoja and Bishop J.B. Masinde. I have been married for the last 12 years to one amazing wife, Catherine, and we have 3 amazing daughters. I'm a youth and teens mentor. I really focus more on the teenagers and the youths. That's where I really passionate about. I've been doing this since 2018, just working with the teenagers in different atmospheres, in churches, in schools, and even one-on-one. I've also authored different books. One of the books that I've authored is a Teens Guidebook on Sexual Purity. Just a book that helps them to understand God's purpose for sex. And it's been an amazing book, and that's one of the books I've done. Other books I've done are about relationships, because we do more of family life with my wife.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of consulting families. That's starting from parenting, teenagers, and young adults.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. The right person for the conversation.
Thank you.
And karibu sana. And again, thank you, especially with the weather today. And that sacrifice and commitment to ensure you are here on time. We don't take it.
Even where I come from, when it rains, you celebrate. So I was just
celebrate.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. So karibu sana. I don't know where we start this conversation. Because it's wide. It's a vast, topic to cover. But we will try as much as we can to ask the right questions and touch on the right aspects for the next few minutes. We are in denial. Allow me to start from there. Many, not everyone. It's not a blanket statement. But a good number of parents are in denial when their children, should I call them children? When their teens reach this stage of teenagehood. And so their bodies start to change and all. Yes, we are seeing their changes, but at the same time, we are in denial that my boy is experiencing this, my girl is experiencing this. Where should we start? Allow me to start from that very basic.
Oh, yeah.
As a father, as a mom with a teenager, where should I start with all that? The body changes before I even now come to relationships and love, because I believe it's stages.
It's stages, it's true that even as teenagers, our children go into adolescent, there's that fear, apart from even there's that fear that now, how safe are they getting into that stage because of what is happening around? We're living in a very, I can say, in quotes, defiled world where everything has been sexualized and everything has been put in a place whereby there's more of negativity concerning relationships and even sexuality. And we're brought into that space whereby sex is like commercialized everywhere. And that's why now, as a parent, when a girl or your daughter is getting into 11, 12 years, you're like, you already know a space whereby sex is commercial. Everywhere there's sex, on the billboards, in the televisions, in the streets, when you walk on the street, and that's a fear. I normally say, there's what you call building and sustaining personal purity. For you to be able to really bring into that aspect of I can able to discuss these things with the teenager when they get that space, there must be a foundation that has been laid. So when you do it like maybe like an emergency, if you're 12 years, like, but they will now let's talk, then you'll be late because there's a discovery. Because you see, these teenagers, as they grow, they discover. Every season of their life is a discovery season. So starting to talk about sexual purity and sex with your teenager should be what you build on as long as they're able to discover what is wrong and right. You see, when kids grow, there's a level where they're able to know this is not right, this is right.
Yes.
So they know probably like dressing up in a certain way is not right. Like I have a daughter of 10 years and one of 6 years. They cannot put on, we've not even told them, but they feel so insecure to put on even a top that has no sleeves. So if you tell them that let's go to church, but they only have a top that is sleeveless, they're like, no, mom, this is not good for me. If you tell them to go to church in a dress and without stocking, they will struggle. They're like, this is not good. So when you walk on the street and they see someone who's putting on a bit of, I normally say, too high and then too low, they're like, what is happening? This is not good. So we have been able to build that from the beginning, so they're able to know, even as they walk about sex is not just the act, it's even the way you dress up. So they're able to start understanding the way, I need to dress this way. Nikiva hivi, it's not good before God. It exposes me. And what exposes me, it makes me to be prone, to be vulnerable to any sexual attacks or temptations. So you start it from the beginning, as early as you can, as a parent, by your lifestyle first.
How also you
carry yourself in the house.
Because that's telling her. Or you're not telling him. But then for you, anything goes.
Then goes. Do you know even what to watch in the house becomes a space of you defining purity of sex to your kids? The programs,
the content you're consuming at home.
So if you think about talking about them, sometimes just let them explore. Whatever you watch will either build their sexual purity or define their sexual purity otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's not even about talking, but it's what you do in the house. It's the lifestyle you do in the house. So when you come talk about it, they've built it.
Yeah.
So they've not seen my wife putting on some types of clothes.
Yes.
So for them, they've started building a space of sustaining purity in terms of even the way we dress, because purity is also how we are, what we do with ourselves, not even the action.
No.
Yeah. So where do you start?
Yeah.
Start from the home. It's so unfortunate, Gigi, that Kitambo, we used to have that picture that used to be somewhere in the home. Christ is the head of this.
Oh, yes, of this home.
The unseen guest in every conversation. Is this every meal? Something like that.
Every conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then something like that. But now you see, we used to have values that the first value in the house is about God. But now everything has been inverted. So the values that we're having in the house, what you're putting as a basic foundation of family is entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll say, where do you start? Like you said, start from who you are.
Yeah.
Be what you want them to be. Then you start the conversation, itakumingia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they will be observing before you even start now these conversations. You have brought in something that also, because you're bringing another aspect that is critical from the dressing conversations that we are also entertaining even as parents, and conversations in terms of the content we are consuming, from the talk to the dress code and all these things. So that it's so loud what you are doing, as opposed to now coming
what
now and hammering and speaking.
Good.
And now this, that has really hit me, because I'm into these, I'm a father and all social circles and everything. And so even the birthdays of these people and all in our homes and everything, the kinds of songs the entertainment, let me say entertainment, from the songs.
Yes.
So the lyrics, they are lewd with, a lot of,
it's a bit so subtle.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we know the videos.
Yes.
You have entered a PSV and you are like, you are just ashamed.
Yeah.
Ni vile tu ungetoka.
Na kunanyesha sasa.
Na kunanyesha.
Yeah.
How we're in that society,
yes.
Douglas. And as you are saying, I wish I could take my kids to an island somewhere where they live alone. How then do we ensure that they don't depart and it is inculcated in them that when even they go to these birthdays, whatever is happening, that they remain standing?
The Bible speaks in the book of Ephesians, is it 12? Put on the full armor of God, that you may be able to stand. And it says, stand therefore, by putting on stand therefore, putting on the belt of truth, and then, but there's a lot of three stands in that scripture. Putting on. Then it says, when the evil days come. Yeah. So meaning, not if the evil days come.
When?
So even if you take a kid to the highland.
One way or the other.
Yes. Evil days will come. And they're living in the same times now.
Oh, yeah.
When everything is, like you're saying, you get to a matatu, you're like, oh, and you see, sometimes they even bring through the screen close to your eyes.
Yes.
Because maybe that is so far for you.
That is
too far for you. Yeah. And that's how close sex has been really commercialized. So what will help your teenager is when you build that foundation for them. And that's why when you put on the full armor of God, and that full armor of God is not just like probably what you speak, like you said, how you do things in the house of the family. So how will I make sure that my teenagers will be able to stand is when I build the right foundation for them. So building is key. So when you build that foundation for them about family life, about God's station for sex, and you see the challenge you have as parents is we tell them what they should not do. And like, don't engage into sex.
Yes.
And you tell them the danger, but you don't tell them the benefit of not engaging into sex. That's the way you go wrong. Because you're like, don't engage into sex before marriage, don't have this and this, don't watch this and this. And then we tell them the effects. But you see, that is not what God intends for us to do.
No.
2 Timothy 2:22 talks about flee sexual immorality. That's God giving instruction through Paul in the book of Timothy. Yeah. So he says, flee sexual immorality. But Mungu atupatie the danger, anatuambia, but pursue. So it gives you the instructions, and then it gives you the way out. And that's what parents should be able to do. Where we go wrong as parents is give terms and conditions, and you bring the danger part of it. And you tell that if you engage into this, you lose this, you lose this, you lose this. But now can you tell that why is it important to walk in purity? So when you build that foundation of why it is important, then it is easy for them to pursue what they desire to have. Then you tell them that it is wrong to do this, and it falls in this. So why will they be able to stand out? Because I've given them the benefit of doing what? What they're watching, what they're able to work on. So what I'll say is build up. I'll go back to the house. Because family is the foundation of societies. So if I don't do it right in the family,
let's talk now about relationships and love. First of all, it has been, should I say, demonized and made to look bad and wrong. Is it wrong to have feelings as a teenager?
As a teenager, I normally say that God is so much responsible for wiring. And like you look at this place, the electricity in this place, this someone who came and placed all the wires on the sockets and everything, the cables on, and then he tried it on. They said these things are working, and then he went away. The one who did, the engineer who did the electrical wiring in this room, you might not even be able to find him. Maybe he's not even existing in Kenya. Maybe I'll relocate. God forbid, he's not alive. But once he did that, then when you come in this house, when it is dark, who is supposed to, do you call the same guy to come put it on?
No.
When it is too hot, do you call the guy, hey, when it's too hot, man, come put it off?
No.
The same thing God does. He gives us feelings. He's the one who created us having those balancing hormones and all the feelings that we have. Because sexual urge is what God created for us. That's why he created Eve for Adam. And that's why Adam, when he was naming the animals, the book of Genesis chapter 2, he said, by the way, but among all these, suitable helper. Why? Alijua feelings zake zingine hizo animals. So feelings are there for us because you're sexual being. First of all, you're a sexual being. We're a sexual being by nature. And because of that, you have feelings. And those feelings are supposed to attract us to opposite sex, not the same sex. So having feelings is God-given. Now, how you manage the feelings is human plan. So there's no problem having feelings. Because it is what God did to Adam.
The way you have been wired as a human being.
So it is you who knows when to put that light on and to put it off. Do you remember when Adam was created, when Adam was walking from the sleep? Why did he say the bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh? Look at feelings. Look at feelings. So feelings are there for every one of us. But now, how you manage the feelings is upon you. Do you know that God created a human being to be able to rule over sexuality? Not to manage your sexuality. So it's supposed to rule over. It's supposed to do what? Bring down every thought that does what? Lift itself against the knowledge of God. That's why any feeling that is not right, you do what? You bring it down. So feelings are okay. But now, you must be able to understand at what time to express these feelings. Even those who are born again, or married, Gigi, there's no way we can walk in the street. And because we have feelings for our wives, we walk in the street and holding them and kissing them and doing all those things. We have feelings for them. But do you know what? We use those feelings at the right time. A friend of mine called Pastor Pancras from Eldoret normally says this, that there are no spiritual feelings, no spiritual hormones. All of us have the same hormones. But now how I manage my hormones now depends on what you call the fruit of the Holy Spirit. So all of us have feelings, but what helps us manage feelings is when we are born again. And that's why if I'm a born again believer, I'll know this is not my wife. Na tumeenda wapi, tumeenda retreat. Na tumeenda wawili kwa retreat because tumetumwa na church. I'll know this is not my wife. When I'm away from home as a human being, I'll know that, by the way, I left my wife at home. Why? Because of the spirit of the fruit of the self-control. So feelings are there, young boys and girls who are watching us, but you must know when to express the feelings. They're not supposed to be like, but then nijisikia. No. There's nothing like I felt like.
Before we get out of that, you have mentioned something also which now is so prevalent, unfortunately, and the lie from the devil. And you said something to do with feelings. And these feelings are towards the opposite sex. Sadly, we are now having this narrative propagation of same-sex unions. Even before we talk about opposite sex, how does this even start? That you're attracted or you're having feelings towards a person of the same sex? And what are the red flags before we even look at the other thing that parents or guardians should look out for, especially when it comes to that seed of same-sex unions.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that discussion.
Yeah.
I think one thing we need to understand as a Christian, and that's why now I'm putting a disclaimer, as Christians, we need to understand that God created human being, male and female, and He said that be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, have dominion, and subdue the earth. You cannot subdue the earth, you cannot have dominion, you cannot be fruitful if you're having sex with the same person.
Yeah.
Same-sex relationship is the enemy's lies. This glass is supposed to be for water, because when you have same-sex relationship, it's a perversion. It's just a sex perversion. Because you see, nowadays, Gigi, we don't have, most teenagers don't engage in sex, actively sex. It's a bit rare, but they actively engage in sexual perversion. And one of them is same-sex.
Yeah.
So perversion is whereby you use something wrongly or in a wrong time.
Yeah.
So when we talk about wrong perversion of sex is whereby sex is supposed to be enjoyed in the context of marriage. When I have sex outside the context of marriage, then I've perverted sex. Sex itself is good.
Yeah.
Having sex is good. But you do not, it must be the context of marriage.
Yeah.
If I'm a married person, Gigi, because I say I'm married, then I need to have sex with my wife or no one else. When a teenager engages in sex before marriage, that's perversion. When a teenager engages into pornography and masturbation, that is perversion, because sex is not supposed to be enjoyed by one person.
Yeah.
So when you do masturbation, you're doing what? You're perverting sex. So when you get into same-sex marriage, we're perverting the intention of sex. Adam and Eve were supposed to have sex using their normal sexual organs.
Yeah.
So when biology tells you that, know what, there's entry and exit. There's a digestive system for food and maybe sexual product. And then there's what we call now the reproductive organs. So when you exchange that, then you're perverting sex.
Yeah.
So how do you notice maybe the progression of sin from normal sex, maybe normal relationships, to now getting into boy, girl, girl? Is one thing you notice is this person shies away from interacting with the men. Kama ni chali, ako so close with machali sana. He's not really even in a company of ladies.
Yeah.
If it's a lady, they're so much drawn to ladies in terms of conversation. They tell me, I love Nani, even the way they dress up. So they dress up if she's a lady and who want to maybe because sexual sin is progressive. There's no one who wakes up and they won't say, by the way, I got into myself in sex.
No.
Unless it is rape or maybe molestation. But even growing from accepting I'm a man to trying to change to be a lady is progressive, because the things I've been watching, the things I've been listening to, there's a lifestyle I'm trying to change. I used to put on probably nice trousers as a man, fitting trousers. I started putting on baggy trousers that looks like a dress. I started putting on studies. I started putting on a coffee. There's a young boy I know somewhere. Okay, a young girl. Where? A young girl I know somewhere. But even if I give you her picture now, you think he's a man.
It's a boy.
The way he dresses up, he dresses up very big baggy. He puts on study, puts on very big jackets, hoods. So we look at him and a very good hat. So you look at him, you're like, the first day I met this boy, okay, it's a girl. Where? Because the way he dresses up. I addressed him as a boy.
Because of the dressing?
Yes. Then she said, no, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. So watch the dressing. You'll never go wrong. And that's why, Gigi, if a parent is present, I don't notice the video. I don't notice the progression changes. Yeah, but if you're not present, utapigwa na butwa. And that's why now, as a parent, even for you to be able to notice these things, it's not like you are going to use a truth meter. Apana. The truth meter is you being available. So the job, by the way, today I didn't see you talk to Nani. I see you mostly watching things that are feminine. I see you maybe dressing as a lady, doing things like a lady, trying to walk like a lady. Uta notice. So first of all, you'll be able to notice when you're present. Yeah.
All right.
They're evident.
Yeah, they're evident.
Even the Bible speaks about is evident.
Yeah.
Yeah. The works of the flesh are evident.
Evident.
Galatians,
Help a parent here or a teen who is watching us, and they are saying, but Douglas, I have these feelings towards this lady, towards this girl, towards this boy. Unataka nifanye aje na hizi feelings? How should they now behave during that stage? That yes, indeed, I'm attracted to these to ladies, and for the boy, to the ladies, the girls, to these boy, how then do they behave with these feelings?
The feelings, yeah. The Bible speaks in the book of should be, I'm not sure, but in the letters of Paul, that young ladies should view I should view young ladies as sisters and older ladies as mothers. For anyone who's struggling with sexual attraction, I'll say this: the first thing is to master. Let me say, you see, the triggers of relationships are not, like I say, it's not like an abrupt thing. Kuna triggers. So if you're able to master the sport, I normally talk about the sports. The sport is any that you will be bringing you closer to that person. So if I know probably that if I talk to this guy more, if I chat with him more, I become sexually tempted. If I hug him, become sexually tempted. If we interact in a given conversation, I become sexually pulled to this person because of my feelings. I'll be able to manage my feelings. How do I manage my feelings? I need to ask myself, what do I do that creates these feelings to be there? Jota mimi niki, let's say, if during our days, if you chat with someone and the way that conversation goes on, it makes you become so attached to this person. What do? Withdraw. And that's why it's able to do what? Master the feelings. The story of David and the story of Joseph are good examples. Both of them, one, ni mdemu alikuwa na feeling kwake, Potiphar's wife. Chelia alikuwa tu hapo. And the other one is a guy who had feelings, and those feelings were not even the right feelings, because there's what we call infatuation and true love. Love says, wait until everyone sees. Last says, let us do it very fast before everyone notices. So that's why when you look at the story of Joseph, Potiphar's wife tried not even once. And that's why sexual sin is a progressive sin. The Bible said they tried once, second, then thirdly, what did he do? This lady waited when no one was in the house. The Bible said that when Ivan has gone to the field, and then he said, come lie with me. Any teenager who is struggling with feelings is progression. Because sexual sin thrives more in secrecy. So that's why Potiphar's wife knew, but now that we're two of us, we can do this. So what did this guy do? Because of that attraction, he knew it is not like holy attraction. He didn't pray. He didn't speak in tongues. He didn't call the Father fire from heaven to consume Potiphar's wife. The Bible said that he flew away. It pays to be a coward to run away from sexual sin as a teenager. Let people call you a coward because you didn't engage into sex with this guy or didn't get yourself in this category of group of guys. So Potiphar's wife hold this guy, and this guy said, you know what, even if this thing is going to remain, I have to run. And that's why, if you look at why Joseph aliachata nguo zake, because of pride. So the things that you need to say, by the way, if being handsome or being so, waseme mimi ndio mnoma, itafanya niingie kwa sin, wacha niache nayo. So when struggling sexual sin, the first thing is identify the triggers. Then ask yourself, where the environment mnakonga nayo ni gani? So run away from the environment, and then look at another story of David. David see the woman, the woman bathing on the top of a building, and then this guy enjoys the scene. And when he enjoys the scene, what happens? He gets attracted. Then what happens? The body calls for it. So these two things. So one, aliyewatch akahepa. Because Potiphar's wife, I don't think he came to Joseph akisema, but they dress in full regalia. Ile amevaa koti, amevaa paka na nguo zote, amevaa paka na nguo kwenda job. Alikuwa amevaa ready for job, ready for the action. But this guy saw and ran away. So how do you able to manage the feelings? Is knowing the timings. Feelings will be there, the timing is wrong. That's when some perversion. So what do? Master your triggers. Number 2, understand the environment. Then number 3, understand the why. Why are you attracted to this person? Is it for sex? At that time? No. Are you to have kids? No. Because muuliza, by the way, uko 15 years. Unataka kwanza kubuy diapers? Hapana. Unataka kwanza kupeleka mtoto clinic? Siwezi. Unataka kwanza kukimbizana na mashindano? Hapana. So this relationship should just be about how do we go together in different areas.
I'm looking at it because at this level also they are very, very energetic. They are full of life and all. And I like the practical ways that you have given us of mastering these things. How, if you would help them now, the teens, this energy that they have, now this is for the teens and also for the parents, so that you have them occupied. What are some of the practical ways that you can engage these people?
I think the best you can do for our teenagers is not even to keep them busy, but to engage them in meaningful conversations and programs. Meaningful. You can keep them busy on tuition. Does it bring the fruit? Because you see, like I said, we're going to really be trying to manage sexual sin by giving them busy schedules.
Yeah.
But see, you're not building any. Remember, I said you must build. So building means even as I keep them busy, what am I growing in them? Because kuweka kwa tuition, ama kuweka kwa safari, kwenda maybe go visit your uncle, go visit your auntie, let's go for hikes. Not speaking about it, it's still brood. Because you see, if what the information they have concerning sex is probably tainted, even if I give them more programs before, without talking about the right, because you see, our bishop normally says there were 1,000 shillings notes, and because of that, if someone brings for me a fake 1,000 shillings note, I'll be able to know. But if someone brings for me a 250 shillings in Meshikana, sitajua kama ni fake. Why? Jua kunanga original. Kunanga original. So if you're giving them busy schedules, but we just paint the right doctrine about sexuality, that will just be giving them wakona ile slit, wakona their own understanding of sex. So yes, give them busy, but is it a meaningful busy program for them? That involves talking to them. The number two, if a young person is struggling, I think sexual sin is not easily overcome individually. That's the Bible inasema, inasema 2 Timothy, it says flee sexual immorality, but sexual sin, but pursue righteousness, faith, love, peace. Then inasema with those who call upon the name of the Lord. So meaning, as we trust God for these young people to really walk in purity, they must be involved, or they must tag along people who have the same mind. So that's why it is not a one-man show. Sexual purity is a space whereby, or a space whereby you're able to maintain your purity when you work with people who have the same like-minded. That's why like programs is just an idea, but there must be people who have the same like-minded.
This is, even as we discuss this, I know there are some parents who are like, we should not be discussing this. Oh, this is too much. Too much information. Yet, the information those kids have, those teens have over the same topic,
yes,
is actually more than you, more than you, even with all your experience and all. We have had, I don't know now, I'm asking you this as an expert in this area. There has been a lot of concerns also even raised about what is it called, that is now being taught in school, sexual education. In school and all. What's your take? Who should be teaching these things? Is it the teacher? Is it the curriculum? Is it?
We're in this world, but not of this world.
Yes.
So some things we found in this world, they belong to this world. And that's why we cannot control the systems of the world. But you can be able to build ourselves to stand even the system of the world. Hatuwezi control, by the way, syllabus za Kenya. Because for them is knowledge they're passing, but not right knowledge. So what you need to do, let's say, did you go back to the home? Nikisha build foundation mtangu vizuri about purity. Even if they go to school, they'll know, by the way, the safest way to have sex is not to have a condom. Is not to have a condom.
No.
Because for that what CBC tells you.
Yes.
That, by the way,
protection.
It's about C. You see, the book of 2 Thessalonians 4:3 talks about that for this is the will of God, that you abstain. So, kwa high school, kuna mga ABC, sindio? Abstain, use of a condom, and be faithful, then C, use of a condom. So we have neglected the A. By the way, I was dealing with another organization that wanted to partner with me. Sisi, to serious. We talk about purity, but talk about purity based on use of apparatus. That these guys, how easy to control our total size. You see, when you have that mindset that they can't control themselves, then you bring in apparatus, biblically, you have not really kept them safe from sexual sin. So I told this guy, for me, I advocate for sexual purity. Because even if you think they can't manage working in purity, when I give them apparatus, then it means I've given the permission to have sex. So I'm so much concerned about them not having babies or having STIs. But I don't care about where their life will be.
Yeah, because I remember there was even a conversation I saw in a national TV, and they had guests and all, and they were saying, or the conversation is, should we give teenagers family planning? I was like, sure.
Isn't the maternity ward? TV. Imagine, yeah. So when you think, you see, that's why we are really, there's a mess around, but that mess can be corrected by the family, and not any family. If as Christians we stand out and say, no, what, it's okay, this is what the world advocate, but this is what God advocate, because it's what the world says. Romans 12:1-2, do not conform to the world of this world, but be you transformed. There's a lot of conformation, but we must transform what is happening by the word of God. So when the Bible speaks about abstain, this is the will of God. It is the will of the government to control STIs and pregnancies, but it is the plan of God that we walk in purity. And purity goes beyond the action. It is even the thought. So when you give them CDs, when you give them morning after pills, when you give them family planning, what are we doing? We're telling them, you know what? There's freedom to having sex. So we're telling them they safe sex elsewhere. So this guy tells them, let's talk to them about safe sex. We have to safe sex. Pana Buddha. I couldn't safe sex as long as there's an intention out of it. So when I have an apparatus, it's not safe sex, because safe sex cannot be found in marriage. So if there's a kid who is in school and they're being taught about this, I think I'll say you're supposed to raise maybe I'm using a reject. I say, maybe I'm not learning this lesson. You see, it's a syllabus coverage. And some of them are being tested. It's like I've seen, I know of friends who I know in high school, who are in high school sometimes back, who are Muslims, but they did CRE. They're not doing CRE so they can be converted. They were doing CRE because it's a way for them to give them marks. Now, they're not going to preach on the street. So the same way, if there's a kid who has been taken through those programs, and Nim Christo, don't disobey, because it's a government system. What you do is go through it, but what will make you be able to understand the biblical, the right for about sexual sex before marriage is when you do it right from home, from our churches, and that's the place of a church. The church must teach our teenagers about safe sex.
That was the question now. What's the role of, especially churches, guardians, parents now? How can they all come together in ensuring that we are helping these teenagers, not for them not to live in isolation, not for them to live in
denial and
fear and everything. Give them the facts, give them the reality, but then again help them to choose purity. How now can we have that concerted effort?
It's a collective responsibility of both the parent and the church and the teenager. It's so sad that we leave this to the church most of the time as parents. So tunatumanga kwa Sunday school, tunatuma kwa teen service, na youth camps. Alafu tunasema wako sawa. But like I said, if the church does its part and the family does not do his part, we lose it. Because shida moja tuko nayo GG is you'll really be assuming you're a teens pastor. You do the right thing, give the right foundations, give the right information, but at home it's the opposite. So home, si tunawashingi zile mamiziki zote zinatudatify mind, because umewambia about what you call physical purity, about the mental purity, whereby whatever you consume has an effect on how you perceive sex. So ushawafunza hiyo, the only way to be able to abstain from sex is also be able to take care of the entry points. What you listen to, what you read, what you watch, and the things you speak. What's the conversation? Psalms 1 talks about blessed the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. The book of Psalms talk about how can a young person make his ways pure. So umeshafanya hizo vitu zote GG. The young boy is really walking purity, but at home the information is different. So if we need to really make sure that our teenagers are really living right in terms of purity, is I should not give them. I know parents who are giving their sons, hey, they will see with the girls around, I'm afraid, so I need to give you a condom. A son of 18 years anapewa condom juu mzazi ameshindwa. So wewe ukikuja kuongelea msao juu ya even condom is not safe with sex. Anasema, mom gave me a condom.
Because you see they believe more.
when it's the parents than you.
Than any other person. Dad alinipea. Dad ameniambia.
Ameniambia nitumie. So if the parents don't do what you tell them, that's why as a church, I normally advocate, can we bring parents also for a session? Teach them about parenting, teach them about talking about sex. Because ukiwaambia vizuri church na home wanaambia, by the way, umetusumbua sana. Make sure unatumia kitu kiko umeshikana. Yeah. So they must be collective. The church has a place, and let's say the church should not do just programs, but should do, I normally say, programs that are really transformational. Don't just give activities every holiday, but can you be intentional? Because we need to build up families. When I'm doing parenting right now, I'm not doing parenting because of my age. No. I'm doing parenting because of the future generation. So churches are doing a good thing nowadays. I've seen churches doing a lot of programs for the teenagers. But the place that we need to work out is the home. Home ndo kuna issue mzee.
And actually now talking of homes, talking of parents and guardians, me being one of them, we are telling them now also, and they're teenagers, and I feel I'm helping him, I'm helping her. So I tell my child, a teenager, that's why I'm insisting it's a teenager. You know what? Bring him home. Bring her home. Uko na girlfriend. Wacha mlete. And I feel like I'm helping this person. What's your take on that?
But
that kind of parenting.
It's very weird, eh? To justify. Let me say this. Do you know that because of the fear of the LGBTQ, most parents will tell you it's so. At least nimeona kitembea na msichana, a boy.
If it's a girl, at least ameniletea kijana. Not a fellow girl, not a fellow man.
But where do you think we're taking this to? You're giving acceptance. You're telling them, no, it's okay. Bora tu janiletea chali. I'm a dem, kama ni dem. So that's where we are right now. And I think parents are losing it. Tumeogopa kusema no ama kupeana the blueprints. So we are like, it's okay for him to bring a girl, a lady, because a man, I'm at least okay because he's not dating another man. But it's the right time. So what we need to do is, mlete nyumbani, ndiyafanye nini? Because the question is, why are you bringing this person at home? I know of a parent who, the lady was dating a man, another gentleman, akamwambia mlete home. But now there's a purpose. So wakalusha chini, wakapika, so now you guys, it's okay that you guys have a feeling for one another. You're still Form 4 leavers. Alikuwa Form 4s, or bado high school. But let's have a conversation. What's your plan for this? Have you really, the two of you, talked about how the two of you will sustain the sexual purity before marriage? So alioleta kwa committee. Now, these guys, I'm okay, come, but let's talk. Let's talk. So mmepangaje? So do you know what God's plan about marriage? So what are your plans, the two of you, that you put in place in terms of boundaries? Because you guys, you're still young. So do you have mentors? Right? One. Number two, what are the measures that put in place in terms of how the two of you will guard yourself against purity? And then akwambia now, the beauty of you waiting on one another, and akupatia the dangers. So, unaona, ukiwaita, umekuja na chali at least, okay, but now, beyond there. So beyond there is the main thing. Go beyond there.
Meeting this person.
Meeting this person. From that, these guys were working together, compare mentors from there. Those guys got married, working pure. So it's not wrong to bring them at home, but pia usiweke kuwa acceptable. Because ukifanya kuwa acceptable, yatambia mingine, but then my mom accepted my boyfriend at home. So what are you doing? Who are you?
You can now be able to do even anything.
As
long as waliwajua.
Waliwajua. So it's cool, like I'm making this acceptable. Let's not really quote sin, and assuming that you're going to marry holiness. It's like you're putting it in a place whereby it's acceptable. You see, it is bad, but nowadays we're trying to really justify sin. That, by the way, ni sawa tu bora usi have sex, but the timing is very different. Even if Gigi ukikuwa PMCC, we did a PMC of 10 weeks, 10 weeks, around 3 months. We've been told by the facilitator that you guys, whether you're born again, hata mkitembea, hormones zinatembeanga na nyinyi, na zinaongelesha.
Ni flesh.
Ni flesh. So how do you control those things? Na sasa tuko quoting, but we used to struggle. Until you say, by the way, hapana, paka mnasema hapana, hata usinishike leo. So huyu mtoto mwenye baada yako class 8 ama class 4 ama form 4, form 3, what are the things we're building in them? So what parents should do is, can you really draw a guideline for these guys. If they bring this person home, well and good.
Yeah.
But before they bring this person home, inamaanisha kuna mali ulala.
Yeah.
Juu hizi let room to home, but they I'm dating, mom, can I bring a man at home? So kuna mali ulala. So before they bring this person home, create a space where they won't bring this person home before they get that age.
Yeah. Help us, a teenager and a parent. Someone is asking a question. How can I help my teens to open up to me about their feelings?
Their feelings. One, create an atmosphere that is going to give them that space. Because one thing that happens, I know of a story that you were told sometimes back, just 3 weeks ago, a parent sent a WhatsApp to another parent friend of ours.
Yes.
The daughter alisahau notebook yake diary kwa nyumba. So when the mother went to look at it, kapata ameandika a very long letter of having a crush with another person. So I have a crush with this guy in the same school. So mtoto wa class 7 ameandika kuna crush na mtu mwingine. So the mom was asking, what do I do? So the mistake alifanya, alisema anaenda kuomba mwalimu wake, mwalimu mtoto. Mtoto wangu akona crush na huyu. Which was wrong. Because you see, the first thing is, if you tell the teacher, we shall break trust. If you make noise, you've already broken trust. So what you need to do is, for them to open up is, be a friend to them, first of all. And then, juu kianza kuongea mapema about these things, wakianza kupatizo ma-attractions, hata kupatizo ma-inbox, ama ma-chats, they'll tell you, Mom, look at what this person is saying. So what I'll say for these parents is, create an atmosphere that is not judgmental, that is not probably like create sema ama nikuchape. It's not about like inflicting pain. And then the best you can open up for these kids is go away from home. Just go away from home. And then talk about it when they're really not expecting. Sit tumekaa meeting. Sasa bu niambie. When you're washing dishes, just talk about, by the way, how do you feel? Nini. When you're in the kitchen, mwambie kunyukatia nyanya. That will help if it's a girl. Come on, a boy. Yeah? Just walk around. Another guy the other day that, do not, one day just take a walk in the street with this young boy. Piga tu story, angalia ile building, apige story building, ambaye ile nini. Watem nafika mahali unge, by the way, and how have you been? What are the things disturbing you? So actually quite a long discussion that brings now that it's quite like a meeting and na kuna agenda.
It's like a formal meeting.
Formal meeting, hapa kuna agenda. Agenda ni kwanza, but hebu niambie about feelings zako. What open up. And sometimes they don't open up the first day, don't give up. Do it again. Because the first day they're trying to see how safe is it. So pia wanakupima, am I going to be accepted? Am I going to be rejected? Am I going to be judged? So the first time they cannot even open up. They will not by the very first time. The second time they have built trust. I've seen mom is not judgmental of dad. Now I'm able to open. So they may start emptying up the second and third session.
Awesome. We are coming to the end of the conversation, Douglas. It's already 5 minutes too. What would be your parting shot before even we call it a day?
One, for the parents, be with their teenagers. And don't do it akishafika 12 years. Tembea tu naye kama ako. Akianza kujua tu what is wrong and right. Anza kutembea naye. And then be the manuscript. Usipeane tu rules and regulations, but be part of what you want to see in their kids. If it's about dressing, it's about what you play in the house. It's about what you listen to. It's about where you visit. It's about the things you engage in. Hata birthday yako usimwekee muziki. Amesema nataka kusikiliza muziki ya nani? You're the one who rules. So be there and then build that foundation. So purity is built through a foundation. For the teenager, I'll say this. In most cases, sexual purity is a daily activity. That's why the Bible says that pursue sexual purity. When you're pursuing something, you don't arrive. When you arrive, you fall. For a teenager is pursue purity. And as you pursue purity, what I'll say, maybe reading from this book, is when you pursue purity, you do what? You flee from the triggers. So you don't just pursue by staying where the things that are putting you down are. Kama ni kutoka kwa group mbaya, kama kutoka kwa watch vitu mbaya, kama kutoka kusikiza ngoma mbaya, that is what you call flee. So you pursue by running away, and then you pursue by getting yourself in the right groups. So get off from the wrong company, from the wrong content. There's no vacuum in Christian life. My life does not have vacuum. Matter of physical survival. So as you leave this wrong content, then get yourself into the right content. If you listen to wrong music, then build yourself by listening to right music. Don't create a vacuum. So that's how you flee. So get the right group, get off the triggers, then get yourself in the right place. Then number 3 is purity is a process. That till death do your part. When you listen to kufa unataka walk in purity. Even me I still walk in purity because a daily choice. When you stop walking purity, you fall. So as a teenager, remember that anything you do in your teenagehood will come and affect you in your adulthood because Tony Gobanga says that every one who is struggling with adult in marriage was once a serial fornicator before marriage. So whatever you plant in your teenagehood, be sure ukifika kwa marriage, utasema the way nini nafanyika going back. Even when I was still a teenager, I was doing it. So purity is possible. It's possible as a teenager. Same with the ngumu, it is possible, and you can manage it.
Awesome. And I see you have an amazing book here, I'll Wait, Set Apart. It's a teen's guidebook on sexual purity by Douglus Angogo. How can we get this amazing book for our teens?
What I'll say, this book is easy to read, very pocket friendly. And it's biblical based. So if you want this book, you can get it by just reaching out to me. I deliver everywhere. By contacting me through 0710 754439. 0710 754439. I'll Wait, Set Apart, a teen's guidebook on sexual purity. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Douglus. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your knowledge and helping us navigate this stage with our teens as well. And I know we are now better equipped, better positioned to walk this journey with our teenagers so that as they come out, it's a stage.
It's a stage,
By the time they are coming out of this stage, indeed, they will come out victorious, successful, and knowing what God has in store for them in their future as well. So thank you so very much.
Amen.
And continue with the good work that you are doing.
Asante. You too.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job.
Asante.
And the Lord bless you.
Amen.
And even our listeners.
Amen. Regards to all your girls back home. Asante sana.
Amen.
All right. And
Baraka.
thank you so very much for tuning in to today's episode of Relationship Resonance. It's all about how we handle teen relations and love. And I know you're better equipped. Share this link with a parent, a guardian who was not able to tune in on how they can be able to navigate. Also a teen who was not able to tune in today. Share with them the link as well to prepare them and make them better people in as far as this stage they find themselves in. God willing, tomorrow being a Friday, Maria Macau Mondi will be here with the Beyond the Melody segment. For me, of course, Fridays at 7 p.m. we meet across all our platforms, Hope TV, Hope FM, and the digital spaces. It is Men on Record. And so we meet tomorrow evening for that episode. On behalf of everyone who has made this show and this week's production a success, thank you so very much as well. From me, George Gishuru, and the entire team, it is to wish you a blessed and a fruitful day ahead. Kwaheri for now.